Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss smart money habits for each time when you get paid. Most of us were never taught growing up how to manage our money when we got paid. Most of us were taught to maybe get a job when we were in high school or college, and then as we got older and got better jobs, we would make more money.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
The reality is that most people were never taught what to do after they got paid. In my personal opinion, I think everyone should have to take a personal finance class in order to graduate high school. But hey, that's just me. I think personal finance is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. In other words, you can know exactly how to save money, but it really boils down to your discipline or your daily behaviors that's going to make a difference. A wise man once said, you can wander your way into debt, but you can't just wander your way out of debt. So today, we're going to discuss several steps that I take each time when I get paid. I'm not going to hold you, so let's jump right into it. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon if you find value in this content. The first thing that you do with your paycheck actually comes before you get your paycheck, and that will be to invest in your retirement account at work.
Huh?
If your job offers a 401k retirement plan or maybe a 403b if you're a teacher, these are great ways to save money before you get your paycheck. Many companies have a program where they'll match your contribution up to 5% or so. So if you save $50 every 2 weeks, the company that you work for will match your contribution up to that 5%. So for every $50 that you save, you make $50 of free money basically. It doesn't get much easier than that. So I would highly recommend that everyone should contribute to their retirement plan from their employer. It's free money, and free is one of my favorite words. My advice to young people out there is that the earlier you start to save, the better. There's something called the time value of money. And basically, what this means is that if you earn a certain rate of return on an investment or a savings account, the longer that you invest in this asset, the higher the returns on your gains that you're going to see due to the power of compound interest, which is basically interest on top of interest.
Damn!
My next suggestion involves your checking account. I would highly recommend that you set your paycheck up on direct deposit. It was recently brought to my attention that people still get a physical paycheck and have to drive to the bank when they get paid every Friday. In my opinion, this is a huge waste of time if you have the option to set your paycheck up on direct deposit. So if you haven't done so at this point, I would encourage you to start this week and set your account up on direct deposit. In addition to direct deposit, I would also recommend that you take it one step further and set your monthly bills up on auto draft as well. So for example, if you know every month that you have to pay your mortgage, the utilities, your cell phone bill, your car insurance, etc., I would highly recommend that you set these bills up on an automatic draft payment system. The benefit is that you know you're going to pay these bills on time consistently every month. The only thing that you have to do is to make sure that the funds are available each month. And trust me, once you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, this will be far easier than it may seem to be right now. Okay, the next step is to set up an emergency fund. Now, this emergency fund should only be for when unexpected things happen in life. Now, this account is not for going out to eat on Friday night or going out of town on the weekends. This emergency fund is for when life starts lifing, like when your car breaks down or something of that nature. Emergencies only. So to start off, I would recommend a goal of $1,000 to maybe $5,000. I think this is a reasonable goal for most people. The purpose of the emergency fund is to provide liquidity or cash that's available quickly whenever it's needed. I would recommend starting small, maybe $20 a paycheck or even $50 a paycheck. The important thing to do is to get in the habit of doing this each time when you get paid so that you're developing smart money habits. As the years and months go by, you'll see your account grow from 300 to 1,000 to 3,000 to 5,000. This all happens on autopilot. And each and every time you get paid, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to, quote, stay disciplined because it's done automatically for you each month. I don't even think about it anymore. My direct deposit is on autopilot. and I have 90% of my bills set up on auto draft every month. This alone greatly reduces my anxiety about bills. The next thing I recommend you do with your paycheck is to focus on paying down debt. There are two popular approaches to paying off debt. You can either pay the lowest balance debt first, which is commonly known as the snowball method, or you can pay off the highest interest balance first, which is known as the avalanche method. Let's say, for example, you have 5 different credit cards, and let's say that the balances range anywhere from $300 to $5,000. In my past, I've used the snowball method to pay down my smaller balances first and work my way up from there. I confess, when I was in college, they used to throw credit cards at us, and I had 13 credit cards at one point. I was young, don't judge me. One by one, I systematically knocked out all of those credit cards and went from 13 credit cards down to one with a zero balance. It wasn't easy, but it was well worth it, and it didn't take me more than 3 years. Till this day, I still only have one credit card with a decent credit limit, and I only use it for basically renting hotels or rental cars or anything I do when I'm traveling out of town. Other than that, I rarely use credit cards if I can help it. So the point is, if you have multiple credit cards, you may want to consider paying down the smallest balance first, and then take that money that you were using to pay that credit card to pay down the other credit cards faster. Now, the avalanche method is paying down the highest interest rate balance first. So, in our last example of having 5 credit cards, if you have a credit card with, say, a 22% interest rate, you may want to consider knocking that one out first. In the long run, you're going to pay a lot more for the interest in those high interest rate
Me
cards.
personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
For example, if you have a credit card with a $10,000 balance at 22% interest, you may want to focus on that before you pay off a credit card with a $2,000 balance and a 12% interest rate. This method may apply more to higher wage earners, but it's still something that everyone may want to consider. My next tip is to build on your emergency fund. Once you've saved up your first $1,000 or maybe $3,000, now you want to try to save up your first 6 months worth of monthly expenses. If your monthly expenses comes out to be around $3,000, then I suggest that you try to save up anywhere from 9 to 18,000 of liquid assets. Now, this might not sound achievable right now, but once you get into the habit of saving money every paycheck, this will become more realistic every month. To be honest, this may take anywhere from 3 to 5 years realistically, but once you cross that milestone, this is going to change your life forever. To be honest, you can do this in several different ways. For me personally, I have 3 different savings accounts. I have my primary savings account, which I call my piggy bank, and this is where I keep the majority of my savings every month. Next, I have my Christmas fund, where I put away $50 a month for Christmas each year. And lastly, I have a car repair fund, where I put away $50 a month just in case I need car repairs. The beauty of this system is that I'm under no obligation to spend all of this money every year. I rarely spend $600 on Christmas for my coworkers or my extended family. So, generally speaking, I'm able to roll this money over year after year. The same applies to my auto repair fund. I basically use this account for oil changes or tune ups or maybe new tires when they're necessary. Now, there have been rough times in the past where I've had to spend $2,800 in one day to get my car fixed. But it felt really good knowing that I already had the money available to do so and take care of it. Having a separate savings account for car repairs has been a game changer for me in my life, and I really recommend that you consider doing it as well. Now, I know instinctively most people will say I need to be investing my money in order for it to grow, right? Well, it would be my suggestion that you wait until you've satisfied the other saving suggestions up to this point and have at least 1 to 3 months worth of expenses saved up before you start investing. The reason why I say this is because investing is not guaranteed returns. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose your investment. With everything that we've discussed up to this point, you can't lose. Investments would be things such as real estate, the stock market, bonds, CDs, and things of that nature. As a man with a finance degree, take it from me. My finance professor used to say, the stock market is just like gambling. No more, no less. I don't care how good an investment banker, an analyst, or a financial advisor may be, they can't guarantee returns. They're just basically making an educated guess based on a variety of different factors. Now, don't get me wrong, stock analysis is a real thing, and there are certain indicators that can help you predict whether a stock is going to go up or go down, but your success is never guaranteed. There are so many moving parts in the stock market that nothing is for certain. So I would not recommend anybody engage in the stock market other than in their retirement account at first, especially day trading, until you have all of these other criteria to be satisfied. I've done my share of day trading, and let me tell you, it can be pretty stressful, even when you know what you're doing. Now, we'll talk a lot more about investing on this channel in the future, but for right now, for most people, we want to talk about creating smart money habits when it comes to saving your money. First, you need to save $5,000 before you can invest $5,000. You feel me? Well, those are my tips on how to spend your paycheck when you get paid. I recommend starting small with $20 or maybe $50 a month every 2 weeks until you learn to build your muscle memory to pay yourself first every time you get paid. This may feel a little weird at first, but it'll get easier over time and it'll become second nature to you, I promise.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Just focus on that emergency fund, your first $1,000 or $3,000, and go from there. And if you don't have direct deposit, please set your account up on direct deposit and you'll thank me later. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching the video and please consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day until next time. Take care.